Okay. Okay, so for this time, we were going to discuss about the building information systems now. A planned organizational shift is the creation of new information systems now. So the implementations of a new information systems entails far more than just new hardware and software. So changes in the job skills, management, and organizations are also included. And we restructure the organizations when we develop a new information system. And system designer must comprehend how a system will impact certain business operation as well as the firm as a whole. So the development of a new information system is an example of planned organizational transformation, automation, or realization of procedures. Business process redesign and paradigm shifts are the four types of the technology-enabled change, with far-reaching changes bearing the biggest risk and reward. So many organizations are implementing business process management to redesign workflows and business processes in the hopes of achieving dramatic productivity gain. Total quality management, Six Sigma, and other initiatives for incremental process improvement can all benefit from business process management. And to give us more details about the topic, let us welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, my name is Maida Kilam. I'm going to discuss the Chapter 13, Building Information Security for Information System. We also have the 4 learning objectives, which is the 1, how does building new systems produce organizational change? 2, what are the core activities in the systems development process? 3, what are the alternative methods for building information system? 4, what are the new approaches for system building in the digital film era? So, first we tackle systems as planned organizational change. So, what does the systems as planned organizational change? It is the one type of deliberate organizational change is the creation of new information system. More than only new technology and software are introduced within new information system. Changes in occupations, abilities, management, and organizations are also included. We reorganize the organization when we create a new information system. Sorry. System developers need to be aware of how their work will impact both the organization as a whole and particular business processes. So there are 4 kinds of structural organization change which enables by information technologies. The most common forms of organizational change are automation and rationalization. These relatively slow-moving and slow-changing strategies present modest returns but little risk. Faster and more comprehensive change, such as redesigns and paradigm shifts, carries high rewards but offers substantial chances of failure. So there are automation, rationalization, redesign, and paradigm shifts. For automations, this enables employees to perform their tasks more efficiently and effectively. So what does it mean? Automation frequently reveals new bottlenecks in the production process and makes the old arrangement of procedures and structures excruciatingly enormous. This is one of the many benefits of moving towards fully automated production. For the rationalization of procedures, the streamlining of standard operations procedures, eliminating obvious bottlenecks so that automation can make operating procedures more efficient. So what this supposed to mean? The rationalization of procedures in programs like Total Quality Management, or which is the TQM, and the Six Sigma are designed rather to make conscious quality information in a company's goods, services, and operations. Rationalization can be found in a variety of settings. So the total quality management, also known as the TQM, emphasizes the attainment of quality, both an end and its own right and the duty of every individual department within an organization. The total quality management approach was popularized in Japan. However, its roots may be traced back to the work of American quality specialists such as W. Edwards Deming and Joseph Duran. Refers to a quality measurement that equals 3.4 errors for every million opportunities. The vast majority of business cannot reach this level of quality, but they utilize Six Sigma as a target to drive continuously quality improvement efforts. For the business processes, sabay nito yung business process re-engineering yung nag-analyzes simplified and designs business processes with mind to radically reduce business cost. It is a more effective form of organizational change is known as the business process redesign. This sort of change involves analyzing, just like I said kanina, simplifying, and redesigning existing business processes. So, a redesigned business process will rearrange processes, merging phrases where possible to save waste and get rid of activities that require extensive use of paper. So in some cases, the new design will result in the loss of employment. Worse, it is considerably more ambitious than simply rationalizing the procedures, and it requires a fresh vision of how the process is to be organized in order to accomplish its goals. Invoice-less processing at Ford Motor Company, for example, is an often cited example of successfully redesigned business processes. This processing method resulted in a 75% reduction in manpower within Ford's North American Accounts Payable Unit, which had previously consisted of 500 employees. In the past, the majority of the time spent by the accounts payable clerks was spent reconciling inconsistencies between purchase orders, receiving documents, and bills. The procedure for accounts payable at Ford has been modified such that the purchasing department now enters a purchase order into an online database. This allows the receiving departments to review the order after the things that were requested have been delivered. So, if the products that were delivered correspond with the ones that were ordered, the system will immediately produce a check for accounts payable to give to the supplier. There are no requirements that the vendors turn in their invoices. So, dito po ang next pumapasok ang paradigm shift. It is a radical reconceptualization of the nature of the business and the nature of the organization. Because it is so challenging to manage widespread organizational change, paradigm changes and re-engineering initiatives frequently end in failure. If this is the case, why are so many businesses contemplating such a significant course correction? Due to the fact that their words are of the same high quality. Yung makikita dyan sa figure 3.1 po. In many cases, businesses that seek paradigm changes and pursue engineering techniques achieve staggering order of magnitude increases in the returns on investment. or of course productivity. This can be a game changers for. So may tinatawag din po tayong business process engineering, which is the BPR. It is the large way of can result from redesigning business processes. For example, yung home mortgage industry, it used IT to redesign mortgage application process. Ginagamit nila yung IT. Like, may before and after. For example, before, meron silang 6 to 8 weeks processes na nagko-cost ng $3,000. And after the redesign, meron 1 week process naman na nagko-cost ng $100,000 or $100,000. So sinasabi nilang replace sequential tasks with work cell or team approach. Actually, many attempts at paradigm shifts in engineering are unsuccessful because large-scale organizational change is so challenging to orchestrate. Then why are there several businesses that are considering such a significant course correction? Since both the forwards and the dearthwards are similarly high. In many cases, businesses that seek paradigm changes and pursue engineering techniques realize astounding returns on investment or productivity improves that are on an order or magnitude higher. So there are workflow management too. Ito yung nagpa-process of streamlining business procedures so documents can be moved easily and efficiently. The systems as planned organizational change. So there, this is the example of before re-engineering. It's a type of desk-to-desk approach. So the origination of loan is the paper applications. Of course, there are several steps. The first one is the pre-qualifications. Dito yung maano yung loan limit estimates, loan structure options, maximum monthly payments estimates. Yan yung mga under ng pre-qualifications. So after nun, pupunta sila ng document generation. Or mga under naman niya is yung application documents, requirements, disclosure documents, compliance documents, credit analysis worksheets, yung mga required na documents na need ipasa. So after nun, syempre, yung application processing na hanggang pumasok dun yung credit analysis and underwriting, which is appraisal, title search, credit checking, and scoring din. Itong credit analysis can be credit reporting din. So after nun, there's approval and closing, which is the calculation closing, documents closing, set up for servicing. Then, there are servicing of loan in multiple locations by specialists in credit analysis and underwriters. Pasok dito yung payment processing and reporting, which is the payment accounting, statements, or tax reporting. And there are also the escrow management. Dito yung hazard insurance accounting, private mortgage, insurance accounting, tsaka property tax accounting. Meron din tayong customer service. Dito yung mga inquiries like balances, escrow, or mga request statements. Then, dito din collections, bankruptcies, and foreclosures na. Which is, ito yung mga late payment notices, management of delinquent accounts. So, after nun, yung loan servicing by specialists naman in insurance and escrow. There are always value and risks. There are loan inventory, gain or loss calculations, risk management, loan purchase, and sale management. Last is after engineering, meron tayong transfer to secondary market, which is the loan pooling and the loan shipments. Actually, effective re-engineering requires understanding which business process need improvement and how this improvement helps the firm execute its strategy. Identifying the business processes with the highest priority includes performing a strategic analysis and identifying pain points, processes that produce the most complaints. So after identification, the business process itself must be analyzed in terms of its inputs and outputs, flow of products or services, activities, resources, information flow, and structure and process owners, actors, and decision makers. This further analysis identifies the process cost and time taken to perform the processes. So, there are business processes are typically measured along like process cost, process time, process quality, and even process flexibility. So, once the business process is understood, a variety of techniques or principles can be used to improve it, such as replace sequential steps in the process with parallel steps, and niche jobs from enhancing decision authority and concentrating information, enable information sharing throughout to all participants. There are also eliminate buffers with these decision delays and inventories, meron din transfer batch processing and decision making into continuous flow. There's also the processes and the automate decision tasks where possible. So a while ago, may BPR and workflow. Ngayon, we have the business process management or the BPM. It is to provide a methodology and tools for dealing with the organization's ongoing need to revise its numerous internal and inter-organizational business processes. So, yung BMM, it includes workflow management, business process modeling, quality management, change management, and tools for recasting the firm's business processes into a standardized form where they can be continually manipulated. Process mapping tools are used to identify and document existing processes and to create models of improved processes that can be translated into software systems. So the BPM software tools automatically manage processes across the business, extract data from various sources and databases, and generate transactions in multiple related systems. Of course, BPM also includes process monitoring and analytics to verify that process performs had been improved and measured the impact of process changes on key business performance indicators. The quality management is another area of continuous process information. So, kanina yung TQM is a concept that see quality as a responsibility shared by everyone in the organization. The benchmarking, kasama yun sa BPM. It consists of setting strict standards for products, services, and other activities. Then measuring performance against those standards. So many companies may use external industry standards, standards that set by other companies internally develop high standards or some combination of the three. So now we may proceed to number 2, which is the overview of systems development. So system development, it refers to all the activities that go into producing an information system solution to an organizational problem or opportunity. It is also structured kind of problem solving with distinct activities consisting of the following: the system analysis, system design, programming, testing, conversion, and up to the production and maintenance. So for system analysis, it involves defining the problem, identifying its causes, specifying the solution, and identifying the information requirements that must be met by a system solution. System analysis also involves a feasibility study used to determine whether the proposed solution is achievable from a financial, technical, and organizational standpoint, given the organization's resources and constraints. One of the most challenging tasks of the systems analyst is to define the specific information requirements that must be met by the system solution selected. Information requirements of a new system involve identifying who needs what informations, where, when, and how. Then there are also the system design. It is the overall plan or model that shows how the system will meet its information requirements, like a blueprint of a building or houses. A system design consists of all the specifications that give the system its form and structure. The system designer details the system's specifications that should address all of the managerial, organizational, and technical components of the system solution. There are also the user information requirements drive the entire system building effort. So, information system design often demands a very high level of end user participation. So, there's a stages like the programming. During the programming stage, the system specifications that were prepared during the design stage are translated into software program code. Yan. The true testing must be conducted to confirm that the system produces the right results. Testing an information system involves three types of activities. There are 1. Unit testing. Each test each program separately in the system. 2. System testing. Checks the information system as a whole to determine if it works as intended. 3. The acceptance testing results in user and management final certification that the system is ready to be used in a production settings. Yan, to ensure that all aspects of this testing are as comprehensive as possible. The development team works with users to devise a systematic test plan. So, dito papasok ang conversion. It is a process of changing from the old system to the new one. Yung transition, kumbaga. There are 4 main conversion strategies. 1 is the parallel strategy. So both the new and old systems are run together until everyone is assured that the new system functions correctly. 2. The direct cutover replaces the old system with the new one on a specific date. The 3rd is the pilot study. This introduces the new system first to a limited area of the organization. And when the pilot version is working correctly, then installed throughout the rest of the organization. And the last is the phase approach. This introduces the new system in stages, either by functions or by organizational units. So moving from an old system to a new one requires that end users be trained to use this new system. Detailed documentation showing how the system works from both the technical and end user standpoint is finalized during conversion time for use in training and everyday operations. The production stage is in effect after the system is installed and conversion is complete. The system is reviewed to determine if it meets the original objectives. In some instances, a formal post-implementation audit document is prepared. Changes in hardware, software, documentation, or procedures to a production system to correct errors, meet new requirements, or improve processing efficiency are termed maintenance. So there are structured methodologies, and object-oriented developments are the most prominent methodologies for modeling and redesigning systems. So what is structured methodologies? It has been used since the 1970s to document, analyze, and design information systems. Structured development methods are process-oriented, focusing primarily on modeling the processes or actions that capture, store, manipulate, and distribute data as the data flow through the system. These methods separate data from processing. A separate programming procedure must be written every time someone wants to take an action on a particular piece of data. Actually, before using this, there are tools used in structured development included. There are 4 tools used to make it work. 1. The data flow diagrams. 2. The data dictionaries. 3. Process specification. The last, structured charts. So what is the data flow diagrams? It is offer a logical graphic model of information flow, partitioning a system into modules that show manageable levels of details. And it specifies the processes or transformation that occur within each module and the interfaces that exist between them. Level data flow diagrams break systems into high-level data flows and additional diagrams for subsystems at lower levels. So, what is data dictionaries? It defines the content of data flows and data stores so that the system builders understand exactly what pieces of data they contain. Third, the process specification. This describes the transformation occurring within the lowest level of the data flow diagrams, which enters the structure charts, top-down charts showing each level of design, its relation to other levels, and its place in the overall design. Yan, for example, a student, kakagraduate na lang, mag-enroll na sila for college. There are at least 3 steps. One is the verify availability or open courses. Dito, you can choose what courses you want to enroll or yung dream course mo. Makikita mo dun if meron silang ino-offer. Pero, dito din mapasok yung accepted and rejected selections talaga. Now, after verifying availability, the student can enroll na. So, there are several steps talaga. Dito, kailangan talaga ng course details, course enrollments, papunta sa course file ng school, and student details, pupunta din ng student master's file ng school. And of course, after the enrollment, dito na sila mag-registration, which is the confirm registration, which is nakapag talagang 100% nakapag-enroll na sila. Ngayon, may papasok na confirmation letter na accepted sila. So, yan, for the process payroll, may tatlong kinds. Get valid inputs, calculate pay, and write outputs. For the get valid inputs, there are get inputs and validate inputs. inputs. To calculate pay, you should calculate gross pay and also calculate net pay. As of the right outputs, update master file and write checks, reports, and output files. Dito yung sa work of accounting to eh. After nila ma-complete lahat. Ito naman yung pangalawang development is the object-oriented development. Structured approaches work well for modeling business processes, but they struggle with modeling data. Additionally, they treat data and processes as logically distinct entities, even if this separation would seem odd in the real world. The data flow diagram is a modeling convention used for both analysis and design. The object-oriented development uses the object as the basic unit of systems, analysis, and design. It combines data and specific processes that operate on those data. Data encapsulated in an objective can be assessed and modified only by the operations or methods associated with that object, instead of passing data to procedures, programs, send a message when an object to perform an operation that is already embedded in it. Now we have the number 3 is the alternative system building approaches. The alternative system building approaches. There are alternative methods for building an information system. They include the system life cycle, prototyping, end-user development, application software packages, and outsourcing. Systems life cycle or traditional systems life cycle. The earliest technique for creating information systems is called the system life cycle. The life cycle methodology is a staged approach to system development that breaks systems development into formal stages. Although there are diverse views among systems development experts over how to divide the stages of systems development, they essentially correlate to those we just discussed. A formal division of labor between end users and information systems experts is maintained by the system lifecycle methodology. End users are only allowed to provide information needs and approve the technical staff's work. The majority of the system's analysis, design, and implementation work is done by the technical professionals like systems analysts and programmers. The life cycle also emphasizes formal requirements and paperwork. Therefore, a system project will produce a lot of documents. Large sophisticated systems that require a systematic and comprehensive requirements analysis will define specification and stringent controls over the system building processes are still built using the system lifecycle. The system lifecycle method, however, can be expensive, time-consuming, and rigid. The system lifecycle is primarily a waterfall strategy where duties in one stage are finished before work for the next stage starts. Despite the fact the system builders can switch back and forth between stages in the life cycle. Activities can be repeated, but if requirements or specifications needs to be changed, a lot of new documents must be created and the process must be redone. The second one is the prototyping. It is the process of building an experimental system quickly and inexpensively for demonstration and evaluation so that end users can better define information requirements. But the prototype is a preliminary model that is refined until it meets end users' requirements. The process of repeating the steps to build a system over and over again is called the iterative process. Of course, the prototyping is more explicitly iterative than the conventional life cycle and active promotes system design changes. Actually, there are four-step model of prototyping process consists of the following. Number one is to identify the user's basic requirements. The system designer or the typically an expert in information system can only spend enough time with the user to determine their basic information needs. Two, to create a first product. The third one is the end user development. It is a software tool called fourth generation languages enables end users to create reports or develop software applications with minimal or no technical assistance. There are 7 categories of fourth generation language. 1. There are PC software tools. It is a general purpose application software packages for the PCs. For example, there are Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Access. 2. Query languages. It are the languages for retrieving data stored in databases or files, capable of supporting requests for information that are not predefined. Just like example, SQL. Third is the report generator. Extract data from files or databases to create customized reports in a wide range of formats not routinely produced by the information system. Generally provide more control over the way data are formatted, organized, and displayed than query languages. For example, the Crystal reports. Fourth is the graphic languages. Retrieve data from files or database and display them in graphic format. Some graphics software can perform arithmetic or logical operations on data as well. Example, the graph system or SAS. The fifth is the application generator. Contains pre-programmed modules that can generate entire applications, including websites, greatest speeding development. A user can specify what needs to be done and the application generator will create the appropriate program code for input, validation, update, and processing. And of course, the reporting. For example, like web focus quick based. The sixth is the application software packages. The software programs sold or leased by commercial vendors that eliminate the needs of custom written in-house software. Example, the Oracle PeopleSoft HCM. The last is the very high-level programming language. Generate program code with fewer instructions than conventional languages such as the COBOL or the Fortran, designed primarily as productivity tools for professional programmers. There are also application software packages. It's another strategy in developing an information system. It's a set of written, pre-coded, and application software programs that are commercially available for sale or lease. Many systems over the course of the last few decades have been constructed using application software packages as their base. Many programs such as payroll, accounts receivable, general ledger, or inventory control are utilized by all corporate companies. A generalized system will satisfy the needs of various organizations for such universal functions with regular procedures that do not change much over time. The majority of an organization's requirements may be met by a software package, eliminating the needs for company-developed custom software, utilizing the pre-written, pre-designed, and pre-tested software or packages from the bundle. allows the business to save time and money. The majority of the system continuing maintenance and support is provided by the package vendors, including the improvements to fit the system with the rest of new business and technological
Ako
advancements.
sa labas kita bubuhatin nga labas tayo.
The last is outsourcing.
Tara, tara,
It
tara.
means using an external vendor to build or operate a firm's information systems. The system may be custom built or may use a software package. In either case, the work is done by the vendor rather by the organization's internal information systems staff. A company can hire an outside company that specializes in offering these services to create or run information system if it does not want to do it with its own internal resources. One type of outsourcing is the uses of cloud computing and software as a service provider. Companies who subscribe in the service use the software and hardware as the technological foundation for their system. An organization might also outsource the design and development of its software to an outside vendor, who would then run the system on its own computers. The outsourcing provider may be local or international. For our last topic is the application development for the digital firm. So what is the application for the digital firm? In the environment of the digital company, companies must be able to swiftly add, modify, and retire their technological capabilities in order to take advantage of new opportunities such as the requirements to develop applications for mobile platforms. Businesses are beginning to employ informal, more rapid development procedures that are shorter. It is also increasingly relying on fast cycle techniques like rapid application development, joint application design or JAD, agile development, and reusable standardized software components that can be assembled into a comprehensive set of services for e-commerce and e-business in addition to using software packages and outside service providers. So there are two kinds of application development for digital firm. There are the one is the RAD or the Rapid Application Development. It includes the use of visual programming and other tools for building graphical user interfaces, iterative prototype of key system elements, the automation of program code generation, and the close teamwork among end users and information system specialists. Simple systems often are assembled from rebuilt components. The process does not have to be sequential and key parts of development occur simultaneously. So this is my last slide, and this is the last of kinds of application development. It's the JAD. A joint application design is used to accelerate the generation of the information requirements and to develop the initial systems design. JAD brings end users and information system specialists together in an interactive session to discuss the system design. So that's the end of my report. Thank you everyone for listening. Medyo mahaba-haba, sorry.
Okay, so thank you so much, no? Okay. The primary activities, no, including system development process, of course, are the system analysis or system analysis, no, system design, programming, testing, no, conversion, production, and maintenance are the primary activities, no, in system development. And the study and analysis of existing system problems, as well as the identification of requirements for their solution, is known as the system analysis. The specification for an information solutions are provided by systems design which show how its technological and organizational components work together. So, structured methods and object-oriented development are the two primary methodologies for modeling and building information system. Structured approaches separate the modeling of process and data, and the structured chart is the primary tool for depicting structured software architecture, while the data flow diagram is the primary tool for structured analysis. So a system is modeled as collection of objects that mix processes and data in object-oriented development. So the notion of class and inheritance underpin object-oriented modeling. The system life cycle is the oldest method for developing system, no, requiring information system to be built in formal stages. So the steps must be completed progressively and with defined outputs. So it requires a formal approval before processing to the next level. And the system life cycle is excellent for large projects that require rigorous requirements and strict management control at each stage of system development. But it is rigid and expensive because prototyping is the process that quickly and cheaply creating an experimental system for end users to interact with and assist. No? So prototyping supports end users in involving in system development and design, iteration and until specifications are accurately represented. Rapid prototyping might result in systems that have not been well tested or documented or that are technically insufficient for a production environment. So using a software package decreases the amount of effort required to develop a system in terms of design, programming, testing, installation, and maintenance. If an organization lacks the internal information system staff or financial resources to design a custom system, application software packages can be useful. Packages may require extensive revisions to satisfy the specific needs of a company, which can significantly increase development costs. No? End users development is the creation of information system by end users, either alone or with the help of information system specialists. So using fourth generation software tools, end users develop systems can be created quickly and informally because end users development on the other hand may be easily controlled through traditional ways. So outsourcing is the use of an external vendor to create or operate an organization's information system rather than the organization's own information system team. So right now, outsourcing can reduce applications development expenses or allow businesses to develop apps without an IT house, IT workforce. So firms, on the other hand, risk losing control of their information system and becoming overly reliant on third-party contractors. So outsourcing has also hidden expenses, particularly when work is moved offshore. Rapid application design, joint application design, agile development, and reusable software components are being used by business to speed the system development process. So RAD makes use of object-oriented software, visual programming, prototyping, and fourth generation technologies to create system in record time. No? Using iteration and constant feedback, agile development provides a huge project into a succession of a small sub-projects that are finished in short period of time. So by arranging items into suites of software components that may be merged to create large-scale business application, component-based development speeds up application development. So through standard plug-and-play architecture, web services provide a common set of standards that enable organizations to connect their systems regardless of technology platform. And I think that's it for this chapter.
Hello po, Doc. I'll be the next one to present po.
Okay.
So, is it okay po if I recorded this
Sure.
class po? Okay po. So,